How many times have you looked in the mirror and thought, is love still for me? Am I too old? What if I've already lost my last chance? Maybe you're afraid of getting hurt again or not finding someone who really understands your story. And do you know what's worse? This fear can be imprisoning you, making you believe that the opportunity for a new love has already passed. But what if I told you that this is just a trap that your own mind created? With each passing day, you're letting time slip through your fingers, without giving yourself a chance for new possibilities, without opening yourself up to what could be incredible. I know it's not easy. The pain of loss, the fear of getting involved again. I understand you. But here's the truth: if you continue on this path, you may look back and regret not having tried. So, answer me. Are you going to let fear define your future? If the answer is no, then stay with me until the end of this video. I'm going to show you how to start over without fear, how to leave your hurts in the past, and how to make room for true love, even after 50. And look, if this topic makes sense to you, subscribe to the channel now, because here I always bring reflections and tips for those who want to live lighter and happier relationships at this stage of life. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. First, break with the past. Mr. Roberto, at 55 years old, still feels the weight of a divorce that happened almost a decade ago. He doesn't talk about it much, but he carries this story inside him as if it were a book he can never close. He has tried to move on a few times. He even went out with a few women, but whenever he found himself faced with a new opportunity, something inside him made him back off. That persistent voice whispered, "What if it goes wrong again? What if I suffer again? What if I'm not good enough?" It was like a broken record, repeating the same fears and insecurities. One day while driving to work, Mr. Roberto noticed something curious. He looked more in the rearview mirror than ahead. Every time he looked back, he felt a twinge of insecurity when he realized he was not focused on what was ahead. And then it hit him. Could it be that I'm doing exactly that with my life? He realized that driving a car looking only in the rearview mirror is dangerous. You can even see where you've been, but you'll never see where you're going. And the same goes for your love life. Mr. Roberto spent years stuck in memories of the past. He relived every mistake, every ill-spoken word, every open wound. But did all of this have to define his future? Did the simple fact of having been hurt before mean that he would never find happiness again? Maybe you too have gone through a painful breakup. Maybe you have lost someone you loved. And it is okay to feel this pain. Scars are part of our history, but they cannot be chains that bind you to the past. Because the truth is that the first step to finding a new love is not meeting someone new. The first step is to let go of the hurt. Then Mr. Roberto decided that he no longer wanted to be held hostage by his pain. He stopped asking himself, what if it goes wrong? And started asking himself, what if it goes right? And this small adjustment in thinking changed everything. Now think with me. The past cannot be changed, but the future is in your hands. Will you continue to be stuck in old stories, or will you make room for a new beginning? Comment here. What still ties you to the past? I want to know your story. 2. Rediscover the best version of yourself. One morning, while brushing his teeth, Mr. Roberto stopped to look at himself in the mirror. He didn't do this often. In fact, he avoided it. But this time, something made him look more closely. The wrinkles around his eyes seemed more evident. His hair, which used to be thick and well-groomed, now had a few gray strands and was always a little messy. His belly, the result of years of not worrying about food or exercise, seemed more prominent than he remembered. And it was at that moment that a thought came to him like an uncomfortable whisper. I'm not the man I once was. In the past, Roberto felt good about getting dressed up. He liked choosing his clothes, keeping his hair neat. He felt strong, full of energy. But over time, these things lost their importance. The divorce, the tiring routine, the frustrations, all of this made him forget something essential: himself. But then, as he looked at his own reflection, another question arose, different from the first one. What if I could meet this man again? He couldn't go back in time, but he could do something better: reinvent himself. And that's what he did. The next day, he put on a pair of sneakers that he had forgotten in the closet and went for a walk. At first, he felt the weight of laziness and discouragement, but little by little, he began to enjoy the feeling of the wind on his face, of his body moving. Then, he decided to renew his wardrobe. He didn't buy anything extravagant, just clothes that made him feel good. He chose pieces that matched who he was now, and not the man he thought he should be. He also began to take better care of his appearance. He went to the barber, used a perfume he liked, and started paying attention to himself again. And do you know what happened? In a few months, his energy changed. His posture became firmer. His self-esteem returned. And he learned something powerful. When you value yourself, the world values you too. People around him began to notice the change. The looks, the compliments, even the way they talked to him seemed different. But above all, Roberto realized that his own view of himself had changed. Now tell me, what can you do today to feel better about yourself? Maybe a new haircut. A sport you've always wanted to try. Learn something new. Because small changes make a big difference. And they can be the first step towards a new beginning. 3. Know where and how to meet someone. Roberto thought his love life was over. Until he decided to do something new. He joined a travel group. During a trip, he met Anna, a woman of the same age, with the same passion for adventures. Little by little, their friendship turned into complicity, and he realized that life can always surprise you. If you want to meet someone, you need to break out of your routine. Join interest groups, social events, trips, courses, sports activities, or even dating apps. Life will not bring someone to your door. But if you are present in the world, opportunities will arise. So now, tell me, where do you think you could meet someone new? 4th, learn to communicate better. Today, women value emotional connection much more than status or material goods. Roberto realized that, instead of trying to impress Anna with his conquests, he should ask more questions, listen more, and show real interest. And that's how he built a genuine connection. The secret is not to talk about yourself, but to find out about the other person. When you really listen to someone, you create a bond stronger than any empty words. 5th, be patient and let things flow. Not every encounter will result in a relationship, and that's okay. The important thing is to enjoy the journey. Roberto almost gave up after a few failed attempts. But at the right time, he met Anna. If he had given up earlier, he would never have experienced this story. Every interaction is a chance to learn something new. What about you? Are you willing to go through the process, or are you waiting for love to knock on the door? 6th, deal with expectations. A relationship after 50 is not like when you are 20. Each person already has their own story, their own experiences, and often their own wounds. SCU Roberto realized that he could not expect Anna to be perfect, just as he was not either. The secret? Acceptance. Mature love is not about finding the ideal person. It is about finding someone with whom you can build something real. 7th, overcome the fear of getting hurt again. What if I give in and end up suffering again? This doubt weighed on SCU Roberto. But then he realized something. Any choice in life involves risks. If he were afraid of driving, he would never have taken unforgettable trips. If he were afraid of changing jobs, he would never have grown professionally. Love is no different. Yes, it can hurt. But what if it is worth it? Fear protects, but it can also imprison. You decide what to believe. 8th, live in the present without rushing. SCU Roberto learned that controlling everything can push away what we desire most. He began to live in the moment with Anna, without obsessing about the future. And do you know what happened? Things flowed naturally. Anxiety can kill a relationship before it even begins. So, breathe. Enjoy. The present is the only time we really have. Now you know, love after 50 is not a distant dream. But be careful, time doesn't wait. If you continue to be afraid, you may end up missing out on great opportunities. So, answer me. What are you going to do today to make room for a new love? Comment here and share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Love is there, waiting for you. All you need to do is say yes.